courage. What is courage? We know that on a knowledgeable level, that courage is not when you're not afraid. Courage is when you do something when you're afraid. But where do you get that courage from? You know, maybe you have put a sense of security in money and a sense of security in your ability. But now with the stuff going on, you're like, well, wait a second. What if my bank account goes down to zero? What do you do if that's what happens to you? And you don't know where the next paycheck is going to come. You don't know if you're going to have a job. Right now, the world is facing quite a lot of uncertainty. Many of us, including myself at times, feel like, well, I can have a sense of security in my decision-making processes and my abilities. And sometimes when you're thrown a curveball at life, right now, maybe you're thinking, I can't even trust my own decisions right now. Maybe you have a business partner or a friend that's freaking out. Maybe they're going to be betraying you next week because they're now panicked and they're doing a business decision in not such a healthy mental state right now, making bad decisions morally for employees, for your company, and it feels like they're betraying you or they failed you. What do you do when your business partner or friends betrays you? Some of you have put a sense of security in a loved one. What if that loved one turns around now and says, I'm leaving you? Or the one that you have put such an anchor of confidence in now passes away. What do you do when that loved one that you've put a sense of security in now is not in your life? Where do you go for courage? Where do you look for strength? That's what we're talking about. The strength that you know you don't have. How do we find that strength? What is courage? It is something deeper. And you know, the world will say, well, just look deep within. You know that when that wolf is at your door, that's shallow. It's something more. But where do we find it? For me, in my life, talk about my prison of fear. I didn't want to talk about dreaming or going to the next level or finding someone who's going to motivate me. I'm talking about something deeper. I'm talking about survival. I didn't want to live. I was afraid of life itself. For me, I am blessed to have had a loving home. That when my dad found out from my brother that I'm planning on committing suicide at a certain age, I was crying and he came by my bedside and he put his fingers through my hair. He said, son, don't give up. Don't worry. We're here for you. It's going to be okay. For me, it was understanding that he couldn't fix my problem. My parents were not the focus of what I had to focus on because they couldn't help me. They couldn't understand how I felt. They loved me though, and I loved them. And it was actually that. It was that which is deeper, a conviction of knowing to hold on to the good of the love that we have for each other, the good in knowing that it is good to believe in hope, that despite what we see, despite what we feel, to love ourselves to a point to give our future a chance.